I'm gonna be the bigger person. I just did not like the way his methods were. I thought his video was a little on the degrading side. He did it in a very disrespectful, degrading way that I would never do to somebody. I think a lot of it was bull.
Hey guys, Ivan here, and in today's video we got something very interesting. Finally, for the first time since these guys parted ways, Kyle Wilkes and Nick Walker speaks out and tells us his side of the story, and basically he goes on Fuerabia's podcast and these guys talk about this topic for like 20-30 minutes. It's a lengthy conversation, but in this video I summed up a couple of very interesting parts of what Nick is saying, and also the other guys made some pretty good points. So let's start with this first part where Nick says basically why he actually stopped working with Kyle Wilkes.
I'm gonna be the bigger person for the thousandth time in my life, and I'm just gonna say I just did not like the way his methods were. It didn't align with what I do, and it was just best that I started to do my own thing. I'll be professional, you know what I mean? I thought his video was a little on the degrading side. Oh, he went in and said a lot of shit. And I just think he did it in a very disrespectful, degrading way that I would never do to somebody. I think a lot of it, to be transparent, was bullshit.
Alright, so basically, as you can hear, Nick was just not happy with Kyle's method. He didn't like the way Kyle approached things as a coach. He wasn't happy with the results and with the method. That's what he's saying, at least when he's trying to stay professional, but it seems like there's more to it. So he says that, he doesn't say much more than that. Then he also adds that Kyle's video, the podcast he made that I covered on this channel, was degrading. And he mentions that word a couple of times. Degrading and disrespectful. What about Kyle's video Nick felt was degrading and disrespectful? The part where Kyle says that Nick burned him already once before and that's how he operates? Is there any truth to that? Well, in the next part of the podcast, Fuad actually says something very interesting. He also adds that he wasn't referring to Nick by saying this, but I'm gonna show you why I think that's exactly what Fuad meant. And he was trying to be respectful towards Nick to make it sound like I don't necessarily talk about you, Nick, it's just in general, but he was talking about Nick Walker exactly because Fuad knows what this was like. Listen to this, guys, I'm going to explain you later what I mean exactly by this.
Part of the problem is people are trying to make this coaching thing like, oh, this guy's my buddy and he's my family and he's my friend and we're fucking having Thanksgiving together. It's like, look, it's not you, Nick, that needs to understand. It's people like that are in the industry watching need to understand it's a service. This is what you're paying for. You're paying for a service.
It's not you, Nick, who needs to understand that. It's people watching in the industry. Right. Let's go, guys, now back to May 18th, right after Nick Walker won the New York Pro.
I will never leave a coach.
Yeah, well, we spoke about this weekend, so I understand
that I feel went fully all the way in and was fully aware and fully paid attention and missed the mark a little bit. Cool. Let's fix it.
Yep.
In my opinion, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And that's why this situation occurred.
So it's Nick who made this post. It wasn't Kyle Wilkes. It's Nick. This is Nick's post with Kyle in the picture, and he says, "Crazy how things come full circle. We've been best friends since 2019. I had a pleasure to watch you grow as a person and as a coach. We had some of the most epic workouts to having some of the most intense venting chats after those sessions over those years. Even when I moved to Florida, which created some downfalls for us, we still always managed to check in with each other every so often. When I was at my worst during this past Olympia, you were one of the select few people that checked on me, which led to some conversations, which led to us doing this coaching thing together, as I had my doubts in the beginning simply because your methods were completely opposite of what I've known my whole career. But I trusted the process and gave you my all. And I'm glad I did. Because not only did it just bring us closer, but made us a better team for it. And I wouldn't want to do this with anyone else, bro. We nailed our first show and did even better at our second show, just a week later, which led to our first victory. We both learned a lot, and I can't wait to see what we can do for the Olympia. And then the last part is the most interesting one. So he says, I love you, bro. You have one of the biggest hearts I have ever known. I am proud of you, and I'm proud of us. Let's finish the job now. When Kyle responds, he says, full circle moment is right. Just the beginning of what's to come. Love you, bro. Glad to see the mutant is back where he belongs in all aspects of life. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of Nick Walker. Always have been. I like his personality on podcasts. I don't know him personally, but after this whole thing, honestly, guys, I don't know anymore. So basically, Nick is like, Kyle disrespected me, he was degrading. Really, my impression was that Kyle was just disappointed. You know, he was disappointed because he thought Nick was his friend and that this thing was gonna last, and that he made one mistake, one peak week mistake for one show. He messed up the Mr. Olympia, sure. I mean, not completely. Nick still placed 6th, and he maybe could have placed higher if Samson actually placed below both Martin and Nick. I can see Samson actually placing 6th. That didn't happen, but it could have. So that was still a decent look for Nick. I mean, not a good look, but it wasn't that terrible of a look. It was a mistake for sure. Nick was off. These guys could have fixed that for the next show, but no. Nick decided just to stop things with Kyle, cold like that, just one phone call, I'm done with you, we're done, that's it. So yes, of course, Kyle felt disappointed, he felt betrayed. I'm sure it was very emotional for him because, guys, you just hear what I read, Nick's post, Kyle's response to that. It seems like these guys were close friends, brothers, basically, brothers. That's why Kyle thought these guys are gonna go all the way until the end of Nick's career, win the Mr. Olympia maybe or something like that. But no. One mistake at the peak week was enough for Nick to end things, just like that. Now in the next part, Nick talks about what is reason enough for him to end things with a coach. Check this out.
I will never leave a coach that I feel went fully all the way in and was fully aware and fully paid attention and missed the mark a little bit. Cool. Let's fix it.
Yep.
In my opinion, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And that's why this situation occurred. When I was with Matt, I think we can all agree that my best looks were probably with Matt.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this. Whenever we did miss, like when we lost to Samson, or if we had just a vaguely off look, did I ever leave him because of it?
No.
Our falling outs were due to other situations, never because of a missed peak.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically what Nick is saying is that the reason why he fired Kyle Wilkes is because Kyle wasn't devoted fully. He wasn't committed, he wasn't paying attention, he wasn't all in this process, in this collaboration. That's what Nick is saying now. Is that really the truth? Or did he actually end things because he didn't like the method, which he says in that post that he loves the method now, even though it's different from what he was doing before? Who the hell knows, guys? At one point I was like, maybe these guys are gonna go back together, because you guys know that Nick really likes to do this full circle thing. So with sponsors, he was like with Raw first, then with Hostile, then with HD, then he went back with Raw, back with HD. I'm guessing Hostile is next again. Now he's back on Fuad's podcast, so we'll see about that. And as far as coaches, he worked with Matt, and then he actually went to Kyle, and then to Dom Super Sliced. And then at like 8 weeks out of Mr. Olympia, he went back to Matt, and now he's back with Kyle. I'm not sure if you guys even knew, but like back in 2021, after the Arnold Classic, where he looked great, after he actually brought his best look of all time, he parted ways with Matt Jansen due to some other reasons, he says. But after that, he worked with Kyle for a couple of months, and then he went with Dom Super Sliced, and then eventually he went back to Matt Jansen, and now he's back with Kyle. I'm guessing the next coach is gonna be Dom Super Sliced, and then eventually, because Matt is retired, he might go back to Kyle. We'll see what's gonna happen. I'm just joking. I don't think these guys are gonna go back together, especially now that Nick is saying all this stuff, that he doesn't like the method, that Kyle was not committed, and also that he was disrespectful and degrading. Yeah, I think these guys are pretty much done, and they are done in a nasty, nasty way. And yeah, I understand why Kyle was so emotional, why he said all he said. It was because these guys were actual friends. Based on that post, at least, based on what Kyle is saying now, maybe Nick didn't really mean it, but why would he write all that stuff on his IG post? Who knows what happened in the meantime, actually. Maybe they actually were friends, and then they stopped being friends. There is also that thing of Kyle actually doing a prep while working with Nick. I think during the period after the New York Pro and before the Mr. Olympia prep, Kyle competed again. Maybe Nick didn't like that for his coach to still be a competitive bodybuilder, and because of that he's saying that Kyle wasn't committed, that he wasn't focused, that he wasn't all in. I think Kyle really tried his best for the Mr. Olympia. It didn't work out well. They probably made mistakes. They could have tried to fix those mistakes, but again, if Nick feels that Kyle wasn't really committed and fully in, he has a right to stop working with a coach who he feels is not fully committed. I don't know if that's really the case. That's what Nick is saying, but I also understand why Kyle was so emotional, why he sounded disrespectful and degrading. It's because he felt betrayed, and based on that post, it's understandable, guys. Now down below in the comment section, tell me, what do you guys think about what Nick said about this whole situation? Who do you think is right here, Nick or Kyle? Whatever your thoughts are, guys, down below in the comment section. And if you guys need a coach, somebody who's gonna be devoted to you, somebody who's gonna be fully in, and whose method I'm sure you're gonna love, you can DM me on Instagram and even Bodybuilding Coaching. I can prep you guys for your shows or just help you get in better shape. Guys, DM me on Instagram. Once again, even Bodybuilding Coaching. And if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you soon, guys. All the best and bye-bye.